Welcome to another episode of Stezworld. I am your host Steven, and welcome to another informative video, restriction traveling into the United States. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just before we start, I just want to say I have a Teespring store where you could purchase many Stezworld merchandises from t-shirts, cell phone cases, bags, spandex, everything you can need. Each sale will help support the channel. I also have a Patreon where you could contribute monthly so you can support the channel. Well, on this video, I just want to say thank you for coming in to see another informative video, especially traveling into the United States during this time of COVID. And now, because the United States has a new president, he actually is enforcing a lot of new restrictions traveling internationally coming into the United States. Since his first day as president, Joe Biden signed an executive order of many restrictions coming into the United States. Now you actually need a COVID test, a PCR COVID test coming into the United States. The COVID test has to be negative and has to be done within 72 hours of flying. If you do not have a result within that 72 hours from your flight, you will not be allowed to board a flight to come to the United States. That's something very new, something very interesting, especially if you're coming from countries where doing the COVID test is not reliable, or if they're reliable, they might be coming in very late. That's something you could consider a lot, because that's probably going to cost you extra. And of course, on top of that, just plan on your travel budget to pay for that COVID test fee. Normally these, depending on the country, may cost anywhere from $70 to $200. It's quite expensive, and it's an additional cost to coming back to the United States. On top of that, the COVID test has to be done for everyone within 2 years old or older. If you're 2 years old and up to 100 years old or even higher than that, you are forced to take a COVID test, mandatory, in order to come into the States. Another question I've been hearing from people saying, oh, because I have the COVID vaccine, I am exempt from taking the COVID test, the PCR test. The answer is no. Even if you have your COVID vaccine, you still have to take the PCR COVID test with a negative results in order to come to the United States. Many people are going to be pissed off after hearing this, but that is the truth. Maybe by the time you see this video, maybe some policy has changed. I am actually talking or recording this video on the 31st of January 2020. So maybe tomorrow, that's going to be February 1st, might be something different. As you guys noticed during the pandemic, every country, everywhere has been changing their rules. For example, when I went to Colombia, they actually wanted a COVID test within 96 hours of flight. On the day that I went, they actually eliminated the COVID test. But now it's January, they actually re-implemented to have a COVID test to enter Colombia. So even if you have the vaccine, just do your COVID test. It's better. I recommend you to do the PCR, the swab one, where they put the swab up your nose, because some places may not even allow you to have like an antibody test or something like that. I have a relative who came from an international flight. They did the blood drawing for the test, and that was not allowed. They only wanted the PCR test in order to come to the States. On top of that, there's still restrictions from certain countries around the world where only United States citizens and maybe green card holders are allowed to travel back to the United States. Some of these countries are Brazil, Europe, the United Kingdom, China, Iran, South Africa, and the Republic of Ireland. if you from one of these countries and you are not a US citizen, you will not be allowed to come into the United States. If you are a US citizen living in these countries, you are allowed to come to the United States. You also need to do a COVID test on top of that. Alright, traveling within the United States is quite challenging. Some states require you to do a 14-day quarantine or 10 days quarantine. It depends on the states. For example, I'm from New York State, and normally there were restrictions coming from mostly every state outside within the area, within the country, except for Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Connecticut, where you are not you are exempt from taking the 14-day quarantine. As of today, New York State requires pretty much people to stay at home for like 10 days. They want you to take the COVID test to come into New York, self-isolate, and then take the test again within a certain amount of days. You have to visit the New York State Department of Health website to check it out, because maybe tomorrow they may change, next week, or by the time you're watching this video, it may change. So visit the Department of Health website of each state to see what's their policy or recommendation, because each state has their own different rules, laws, and don't want to be stuck somewhere or be in trouble. So I just want to say this is just a short video of me talking about traveling into the United States, especially internationally. It's kind of frustrating for a lot of people. I know a lot of you, like me, we have this travel bug to travel to some places, but because we are in a pandemic, it's better to stay home in the meantime. But if you guys are going to travel, just stay safe, wear the mask, wash your hands, keep a safe social distancing, especially if you're in a big city. If you live in the countryside, or you're going to be in a rural area where the contagion is a lot less, I mean, you're free to do whatever you want in those areas. Just stay safe. I want to travel internationally, to make more videos for the channel, but because there's a lot of restrictions within my hometown, I cannot do as much video as I want to. So pretty much I'm gonna do my best to create a weekly video, me doing the same thing I'm doing right now, talking in front of the camera, talking about travel. You also could follow me on Twitter and Instagram, so you can see some of the pictures, some updates on anything. And I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and until next time, safe travels.